Not doing great in school. Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm gonna do a review of the new Parquet Courts album, Wide Awake. And wow, I'm really excited about this album ever since they have released their teaser tracks towards this album. Man, I have been waiting. Anyway, Brooklyn-based rock band who had explored many different genres, including indie rock, art punk, post-punk, garage, experimental. They are back with a new album, and again, really exciting. Before we dive deep into the music and the lyrics of the album, let's just look at the album cover. Am I pointing in the wrong way? I think I am. Yeah, let's just look at the album cover. It looks silly and cartoony, but also kinda interesting, intriguing, artistic, also somewhat political and deep at the same time, and that really intrigues me a lot. And what's also amazing about this album, or this period of time specifically, is that it may seem like Parquet Courts had reached its highest point in their career. Maybe they will get even bigger, who knows, but they just landed a performance at Ellen's show, performing the title track Wide Awake, and that is pretty damn surprising in my opinion. But still, besides of that, this album is my third favorite album of the year, to be extremely honest, just behind Car Seat Headrest and Nicholas Jar, but still, epic album. Oh my gosh, the performance, they are really tight, intense, exciting, lively, electrocuting even at times. The production is very organic, vivid, rough around the edges at times, but also very soft and dreary at times also. And this album has some of the best songs from Parquet Courts, catchy hooks, killer guitar riffs, and the vocals from Andrew Savage. The frontman is extremely masculine, and the lyrics, they focus on sociopolitics a lot. Come on, ever since 2016, ever since the whole USA election thing, everyone's getting political. I get it, but the way they did it on this album is actually really smart. It's really insightful, and it speaks a lot about the society and the political climate of the USA right now. The band kind of talks about violence, the wealth gap, and the normalization of how we start to feel numb to all of these, violent events, and also other, you know what I'm talking about. And the album has an amazing flow. It flows very smoothly and in a very tasteful and flavorful way. And overall, the texture of this album, really rough, really tough, but also really intriguing, punchy, smart, funky. The album starts off with Total Football, which is a banger. Wow. At first you hear these steady guitars that builds up the mood, and then you hear this one guitar that goes super fast paced, and it's really fun. It's doodling around, and the melodies, the lyrics of this track, they're both excellent. They're quality.
We conduits supply electricity. Now you're back on the pitch to take the apparatus apart. You're an agent now. You're an agent now.
This track itself also has a lot of references to football, soccer, while still staying political. Especially in the track. Stop saying the word album. In the track ending, where it ends off sharply with Andrew Savage yelling, "Fuck Tom Brady!" Anyway, it's a super dancey and groovy introduction to an amazing album, and man, the next track is Violence, which has some fun and sharp descending melodies, and the drum and the bass are super funky. There are also organs behind the vocals as well. Vocals, but not really vocals. It's more like a spoken word track. Again, Andrew Savage's vocals, very masculine, very tough. So he's basically shouting and yelling for the most duration of this track. And we also have a really catchy hook. Violence is daily life.
A cause and effect, the rejoice to regret. Violence is daily life. A promise to pact that the world never kept. Violence is daily life. Oh.
And overall, I'm just liking the 70s funk rock influences on this track. And this track, lyrically speaking, yeah, it really relates to a lot of the, mass shootings in the USA right now, especially school shootings. If you're listening to this right now, you may think about, the recent shootings like Santa Fe, which are really tragic, by the way. It's just an estimation, but whenever you listen to this song, there's always a mass shooting incident just a couple weeks or just simply a week ago occurring in the USA, and of course that is extremely tragic. That is unbelievable. The politicians of the USA didn't do anything about that, and damn it. The third track is Before the Water Gets Too High, and it's a more soft and mellow and futile track as well. We have the nimble bass line and the melody. It's very relaxing, it's very chill. The vocal performance is a little mild. It's not as exciting or as jammy, but still pretty nice, loving the grooves. The fourth track is Mardi Gras Beats, which is a dreamy, psych, soft ballad.
Your glancings of lyrics I from memory. It's sad our goodbyes sound nostalgic.
And although it's a little mild, again the vocals, the production of this track feels like it lacks a little bit, but nonetheless it's a very memorable tune. The melodies, they are quality once again. The next track is the first teaser single to this album, Almost Had to Start a Fight / In and Out of Patience, and it is an incredible two-parter that keeps its listeners on the edge of their seats, kinda, but they're not watching a movie, they're listening to a song. You know what I'm talking about.
Why am I searching for a reason?
Anyway, even though it is a two-parter song, this song stands at only about 3 minutes long for some reason. I wish it's a little longer, but oh man, this track, damn. Tight, syncopated guitars, crispy, banging drums. We have the very clean and masculine vocals as well. And we also have this stuttering thing. Almost had to start a fight. And it just adds onto the tension and the panic element of the track. It really builds up such a, I'm not gonna say mood, it's not really moody, but it builds up a tension. It keeps you concentrated on the track. It's like it's making you and forcing you to pay attention to what's going on in this track. And again, really intriguing lyrics. Why am I searching for reason? I'm in this chaos dimension.
The MTA took the first of it. 20-minute delay wasn't the worst of it.
The track Freebird 2 comes next, and it has this sweet little indie ballad that has a 70s, 80s vibe to it, but also an early 2000s vibe to it at the same time. Kind of a mix of both. You know what I'm talking about. And the melodies, they are really sweet to the ears. They are descending, and it also has a classic rock infused chord progression that I love.
I've learned how not to miss the age of tenderness that I am so lucky to have seen once.
And this track deals with, growing older, and again, it takes a break from all these intense socio-political commentary, but still it keeps the flow. It keeps the flow really nicely. The next track, Normalization, it's aggressive and bombastic, and it's really loud, but in the middle of the track you get this little funk breakdown with this loner guitar riff that's super kick-ass playing in the background, and that is genius.
Can I allow this? Normalization, what am I thinking?
And then we have Back to Earth, which is a really nice slow jam in my opinion. We have these bouncy guitars and this ambient background that's really melodic and memorable. The vocals is really laid back, it's really chill, but also kind of mild and slightly awkward in my opinion. But still, it's a very memorable song and kind of catchy too. And then we have the title track, Wide Awake.
I'm wide awake. Mind so woke 'cause the brain never puts the brakes. I'm wide awake.
Super funky, super fun, super tense, raw, but also groovy at the same time. And this track really wakes you up. It's just like the title, it wakes you up, wide awake. It's really awakening also. And it also has this early LCD sound system vibe that I really love. Kind of reminds me of Daft Punk is playing at my house as well. Just really groovy and fun. Really eccentric as well. And this track talks about, being aware of the social and political climate around you right now and being woke in general, and it's great. It's one of my favorite singles of the year so far. Really amazing, colorful, vivid, vibrant. Anyway, the next track is NYC Observation, or New York City Observation, and it stands at only 1 minute and 30 seconds. Even though it's really short at length, it's still a really repetitive and somewhat redundant track in my opinion, and because it's really repetitive, it's kind of dry and drab at times, but still the performance is really tense and I'm loving the groovy guitars. The next track, also 1.5 minute long, is titled Extinction. The lyrical concept of this track is intriguing as well, also woke again. But still a little bit underwritten, just a little bit, redundant again. But I love the blissful guitar riff on this track. I just love it. The next track, also the penultimate track on the album, I love it so much. Death Will Bring Change. Death will bring change.
There, before the creed, I found peace in my selfish ways. My yesterdays were erased. Death will bring change.
This track is really haunting, but it also has a goofy side that makes this track even more memorable. It kind of makes you feel, it has this 90s feel to it, but also a 70s Doors influence on it that I really love. Again, the guitars are slightly goofy, but it accompanies with the melodies, and the whole thing feels really, I guess, lively and haunting. And we also get this eerie children choir singing in the background, Death Will Bring Change, and the production is amazing. I think Andrew Savage talked about, recording a children choir in an interview, saying how their attention span is 20 minutes, but nonetheless, they performed great, the band performed great, the song is great, and it's one of the highlights of the album, to be honest. And the concept is great. It's about how death will change you, death and change, and it's also kind of inspired by one of the band members' experience, I think. But I just wish this track is a little bit more awkwardly polished and clean. It will really make this track, I guess, exhibit its potential even more. The album ending is very jaunty and lighthearted, and it is titled Tenderness. It has these carefree guitars and saloon pianos that goes up and down.
We've come to replace your clocks. Old stubborn hands, we are the answer to why they never had a chance.
Lyrics, they're incredibly poetic, and they mainly deal with, how the future's changing, again, it speaks a lot about the society right now. And the album ends off on a high note with Andrew Savage saying he needs the fix of tenderness, like it's drugs, but the world indeed needs a little tenderness right now. And it's pretty good that, Parquet Courts is not only complaining about the society, but they are also bearing a bit of optimism about the world, about the society right now, and I think that's pretty smart and on point as well. Speaking of on point, the album overall is on point. The performance, the lyrics, the context, the concept as well, the guitars and the melodies are incredibly groovy and catchy, and you can hear that this album is way more matured in terms of performance and production than a lot of the previous albums from Parquet Courts. Human Performance, which is their last album, is also really good, but it doesn't come close to this Wide Awake. And overall, it's an extremely artistic and interesting project while still staying political and smart, and it speaks a lot about our society and political climate right now. So I'm really, really impressed with this album. Just amazing album. The worst is NYC Observation, and my favorite track on here, the title track. I'm giving Parquet Courts Wide Awake an 8 to a 9 out of 10. So, have you listened to Parquet Courts Wide Awake from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like it, and subscribe if you want more.